You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 23rd of September. US State Secretary calls ties with India critically important amid tariff row. Tax row freezes trade and travel at Sost border in Gilgit Baltistan. And forum in Geneva exposes rights abuses in Pakistan and Bangladesh. And now for all the details. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio met Indian Minister of External Affairs S. Jaishankar on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly on Monday. Rubio called New Delhi's ties with Washington a relationship of critical importance and appreciated India's engagement on trade, defense and energy, according to a readout of the meeting provided by the State Department. In a post on X, Jaishankar said it was good to meet Rubio in New York, and their conversation covered a range of bilateral and international issues of current concern. Rubio said that he discussed with Jaishankar key areas of our bilateral relationship, including trade, energy, pharmaceuticals and critical minerals, and more to generate prosperity for India and the United States. The meeting was the first in-person talk between Rubio and Jaishankar amid tensions between the two countries over trade, tariff and India purchases of Russian energy. Jaishankar is slated to hold a series of bilateral meetings during the week on the sidelines of the UNGA session. He will deliver the national statement at the general debate on September 27th. Meanwhile, India's renowned diplomat and lawmaker Shashi Tharoor has said while India-US relations may have suffered a short-term setback, the long-term interests of both the countries will eventually bring them on an even keel. The former Minister of State for External Affairs, when asked if ties were at point of no return, underlined that beyond defense, the two countries share deep cooperation in areas like AI, IT and space. Tharoor further expressed confidence in cooperation across sectors will continue, with both New Delhi and Washington working at various levels of government, which doesn't seem to be stopping from either side.
No, I would not say it's a point of no return, because I do believe that the longer term interests of both countries will eventually bring us back on even keel. It's certainly a very sharp setback in the short term. It is costing us, it is costing jobs in India, it's costing losses in India. And so for India, it is undoubtedly bad news this year. But look at the larger picture.
The opposition Congress MP also rejected US President Donald Trump's repeated claims of brokering a ceasefire between India and Pakistan, stressing that India never required persuasion since Operation Sindoor had already achieved its objective of targeting terror infrastructure in Pakistan on the very first day. And protests at the Sost border in Gilgit Baltistan have escalated, leaving traders and students stranded as the standoff over illegal taxes halts cross-border movement and fuels growing uncertainty for trade and travel.
Protests at the Sost border point of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor in Gilgit Baltistan have continued as traders stage a sit-in demanding policy reforms against illegal federal taxes. The ongoing demonstration has completely halted cross-border movement. Among the affected are students bound for China, now stranded with their academic deadlines fast approaching.
हम जो यहाँ 2 दिन से फंसे हुए हैं, हमारी जो यूनिवर्सिटी की डेडलाइन है वो भी बिल्कुल करीबी है और इस धरने की वजह से हम जो यहाँ पे हमें बहुत मुश्किलात का सामना है। हमारी हुकूमत से अपील है कि कुछ करे कि हमें यूनिवर्सिटी चले जाए।
मसला ये है कि जो हमने तो टिकट वगैरह ले ली है, एडवांस ले ली है। अब ये है कि कल मैंने हर हाल में निकलना है और वीज़ा का भी मसला। अब ये तो रोड बंद है, अब पता नहीं क्या करें, कैसे जाएं। इस मसले को हल करें और आने वाले स्टूडेंट के लिए भी मतलब ये मसला हल हो जाए तो इजीली यहाँ से वो जा सकेंगे।
Amid the ongoing protest, traders have also raised strong objections to what they call a biased portrayal of their sit-in. They accuse certain media outlets of labeling their peaceful demonstration as disruptive or unlawful.
गिलगित बल्तिस्तान की 78 साला महरूमियों के जो जख्म हैं उनके ऊपर आज मीडिया ट्रायल के जरिए नमकपाशी करने की कोशिश की गई है। गिलगित बल्तिस्तान की पूरी 22 लाख की आवाम जो है ताजिरों के इस कौमी मुकदमे के अंदर अपने ताजिरों के साथ खड़ी है और इसको साजिश के जरिए नाकाम बनाने की एक नाकाम और मजमूम कोशिश की गई है।
As the strike continues with no resolution in sight, the situation at Sost remains tense.
Moving on, a seminar held during the 60th session of the UNHRC in Geneva shed light on the worsening human rights conditions in Pakistan and Bangladesh and called for increased international attention and stronger measures to protect human rights defenders, minorities and vulnerable communities.
Human rights violations in Pakistan and Bangladesh came under sharp criticism at a seminar held on the sidelines of the 60th session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva. Speakers particularly expressed concern over the persecution of human rights defenders and highlighted that governments continue to restrict civil and political rights, and inequalities based on gender, caste, ethnicity, or religion are prevalent in these countries. Scientist Dr. Nuran Nabi accused the Muhammad Yunus-led Bangladesh government of being installed with Western support, but warned that its policies were pushing the country towards instability.
People used to live there in harmony, in peace of mind, but now under the current Yunus government, there was no rule of law. There is human rights violation, and a lot of people are being killed by mobocracy. And economic condition is so bad, people are going hungry, and they are saying that we are better off before this government.
Participants described how terrorist elements, often linked to Pakistani-based networks, continue to target civilians in India, attempting to fracture communal unity along religious lines. The event also condemned the Pahalgam terror attack in India's Jammu and Kashmir, calling it the worst of its kind because the attackers first tried to identify the religion of victims.
And the last big event in Pahalgam was the worst of its kind because they also tried to communalize the issue, and by ascertaining the religion of their victims first. That was very, very atrocious.
The forum concluded with a unanimous call for increased international attention and stronger measures to protect human rights defenders, minorities, and vulnerable communities in both Pakistan and Bangladesh.
Meanwhile, dengue infections are surging across Bangladesh. Health authorities have reported this year's biggest single-day rise in both deaths and hospital admissions. The Directorate General of Health Services confirmed 12 deaths and 740 new hospitalizations on Sunday from the mosquito-borne disease, bringing the year's nationwide death toll to at least 179, with nearly 42,000 infections. Children are the most affected, many arriving to the hospitals with high fever, rashes, and dehydration. Meanwhile, entomologists say the monsoon is stretching longer than usual, giving mosquitoes more time and space to breed and worsening the outbreak. Experts fear that without stronger preventive measures, such deadly cycles will continue. And Sri Lanka's consumer prices rose 1.5% in August compared with the same month last year, up from 0.7% in July, according to official data released on Monday. The increase was driven by food inflation, which rose to 2.9% in August from 2.2% in July, while non-food prices climbed 0.4% after a 0.6% drop in July. The country has recovered significantly since its severe dollar shortage 3 years ago, recording 5% economic growth in 2024. Inflation has also slowed over the past 2 years, enabling gradual cuts to interest rates. Analysts expect annual inflation to average about 2% this year, with the central bank's 5% target likely to be reached by mid-2026. President Anurag Kumara Dissanayake, who also serves as Finance Minister, will present the 2026 budget on November 7th, where record capital expenditure is expected to be outlined. The National Consumer Price Index, which captures broad retail inflation, is published monthly with a 3-week lag. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.